Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Katie Patterson here, and today we're going to be talking about porn. Now, I know it's not a typical topic that is talked about on Sunday morning service, so that is why I'm talking to you guys about it. Because I want to recognize that girls struggle with this too. I had a porn addiction for 10 years before coming to Christ, and then after coming to Christ, I still have that temptation. I still, struggle with that sometimes. I haven't watched it since coming to Christ, yet that temptation is still there. So the reason I'm making this video is to give you some tips and some boundaries in order to not dive into that temptation. Now, I want to preface this. These boundaries do seem strict. I want to tell you that the stricter is the better. The less you're triggered in order to feel like you want to watch porn or feel lonely and you want to do that, the less you are likely to watch that if you're not triggered and stuff. So yes, these rules, boundaries may seem strict, but at the end of the day, they have helped me so much, and they are what keeps me from diving into watching porn. Just also want to preface this: if you are struggling with porn, you're not alone. I struggled with for so long, and I know hundreds and thousands of girls struggle with that as well. And I see it all in my comments on TikToks or in my DMs on Instagram. You're not alone, and I want to let you know you're not alone. So, without further ado, we are gonna dive into some tips and boundaries. Okay, before starting this video, I just want to remind you guys to like and subscribe if you want more. Also comment down below of what you want me to talk about, what you're actually struggling with, because I want to help you, and I really genuinely care and love about you. Love about you, love you. And so also, if you want to follow my TikTok and my Instagram, there I also talk about porn, sex, lust, and talk about my struggles a lot. And my username is katie.patty with 2 Y's on each side. So, now let's get into the video. Movies seem innocent. Movies seem like, oh, it's not exactly watching porn, even though there's a sex scene. Or it's not really triggering or whatever, because people don't really talk about it, because it's so normalized in our society to literally just watch sex scenes or steamy makeout scenes with friends, or just sitting down. And for me, who struggled with porn for so long, it was so hard for me to watch that, because, it literally took me back to when I was watching porn. So, if I am watching a movie and a sex scene comes up, I will either choose to not watch that movie as a whole or leave. Because in the Bible, it literally talks about how with sexual immorals that you should flee. It doesn't tell you to just walk, ponder, just kind of sit. Yeah. It tells you to flee, because sexual sin is so hard to overcome. It's so hard, but the Lord is bigger and the Lord is better. So when I'm watching those movies, I will either leave, go to the washroom, close my eyes, or just not watch the movie as a whole, because I don't want to be triggered into thinking about that or wanting to go and watch porn, So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2. Leave your phone, your computer, your technological devices downstairs at night. I am telling you, it is hard. It is hard when you have access to so many sites and so many things. So I would suggest that you would put your phone, charge it downstairs, put your computer, charge it downstairs, so that when you're lonely at night, because that was where my temptation was most, was at 2, 3 in the morning. So when you're in that loneliness, when it's not easily accessible for you to just reach over and go watch it, it is way better. It is way better for you not to get triggered in order to do that. So I would suggest leaving your technology downstairs, and also going along with that is doing nighttime devotions with God, spending time with God when you're in your loneliness. Because at the end of the day, that is why I struggled with it so much, is because at 2, 3 in the morning, I was lonely. And so spending time at night with God is so fulfilling and so much better, because there I'm turning my focus and my weakness onto the Lord, and I give Him my struggles, because I'm telling you right now, we are weak. We're sinners. We cannot overcome sin and temptation by ourselves. We can't. We have to turn our focus on God. We have to turn our strength and whatever we have to God, because God is strong and He gives us strength in order to overcome sin. He is the one that equips us with that strength. And so that is why it's so important to turn to God in your struggle. So what I would suggest to you is just praying at night when you feel the most tempted. My dog is barking. I'm so sorry about that. I would suggest that you leave your technology downstairs and in the loneliness, talk to God, pray with God, read His word, turn your focus on Him. Now, tip number 3 is prayer. Prayer, I cannot stress to you how important it is in those moments where I'm like, I need to grab my phone, I need to do that. I immediately pray. I'm like, God, take this temptation away from me. God, help me overcome this. God, give me the strength to do this, because I am weak. We're weak, and that is why we need to turn our focus to the Lord and give that to Him, especially in those moments when you are triggered to wanting to do that. Immediately pray and make it a habit of immediately praying when you are thinking about that, when you're tempted to do that, when you need the strength. Immediately pray and ask God to give you the strength to overcome that. Turn your focus to Him, because again, we're weak, and I know I keep saying that, but it's true, and I want to remind you that we cannot do this by ourselves. God is not a want, He is a need. My tip number 4. This might seem extreme, but this is also what I did. I left my door open. I live with my family, obviously. I'm 19. Leave my door open at night, especially when I'm struggling, because there it's not like I'm alone. I don't feel like I'm not accountable, because I am accountable, because literally my door is wide open. So just making the root of all these boundaries is whatever you are triggered by, put a boundary on. Whatever you're triggered by, whether that is movies, whether that's music, whether that's people, whether that's TikTok, put a boundary around it so that you're not triggered, so that you don't feel triggered. So that goes along with I think I'm at 5. If I'm not at 5, I'm so sorry. But goes along with 5 is social media. I had to delete TikTok for a while. I had to delete Instagram, because when I was scrolling, literally TikTok is basically just people shaking their bodies and everything. Almost like it's hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. And so I had to delete that until I could watch that and just scroll instead of pondering. Whether that's Instagram, whether that is TikTok, whether that's Pinterest, whether that is literally Safari, delete those things and delete those till you aren't triggered by what is on there. Or even filter out, I put I'm not interested on my TikTok when I see stuff like that, because it's hard. It still is hard for me to watch that. So that is what tip number 5 is. And I know the lighting changed. I'm really sorry. I don't know what to do about that. Those were my tips, guys. I will be making a part 2 in the future to be talking about more boundaries, because I know this is a super not talked about topic. So I'm really thankful that you're here, and I want to remind you that you are not alone. I struggled with this for 10 years, and if you are still struggling with it, you're not alone. Turn your focus to God. Bring it to God. Give it to God, because He is where we can overcome our sin, and He is where we can overcome our temptation. So I want to leave you with that. I want to remind you that you're so loved, you're so wanted, and you are fully known. And I love you, but most importantly, God loves you. I'm going to leave you with a Bible verse, as I always do. And the Bible verse today is again gonna be from Psalm, because I like Psalm. Today it is Psalm 144 verse 2. He's my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, and He is whom I take refuge, who subdues people under me. God is your strength and He is your fortress. Turn to Him today.